Picture sitting on the floor with your 9-month-old baby. You reach across the rug toward a cup of tea that's gone cold. They can't speak a single word yet. They can't walk, ask a question, or tell you what they're thinking. And yet, their eyes flick ahead of your hand, landing on the cup before your fingers ever arrive. We tend to look at infants as little bundles operating on basic instincts, eating, sleeping, crying, and slowly figuring out how to grab their own toes. But underneath all of that, your baby is watching the people around them and figuring out in real time what those people want and what they're aiming for. That small, quiet glance at your hand is the visible tip of an enormous hidden process. Long before they can talk, a baby is actively reading your mind. To a baby, a reaching hand is just a shape moving through space. How do they know the point of that movement is the cup, rather than just the direction the hand happened to travel? In a classic test, a bear sits left, a ball right. Babies repeatedly watch a hand reach left for the bear. The toys switch. The hand either takes the familiar leftward path to grab the ball or a new rightward path to grab the bear. If the babies only cared about the physical geometry of the movement, the new path to the right should have caught their eye. But 6-month-old infants stared longest when the hand reached for the ball, even though it moved along its familiar old path. They recognized that the hand was aimed at a specific object. They had successfully isolated the hidden intention behind the physical motion. How does a 3-month-old infant start to recognize purpose before they can purposefully interact with the world themselves? The answer involves giving them a head start. Researchers took these tiny infants and fitted them with little Velcro-covered mittens. They placed them in front of toys covered in the same Velcro. Suddenly, a clumsy swipe resulted in the toy sticking to their hand. For the first time, these babies felt what it was like to make something theirs. And when those exact same infants later watched an adult reach for a toy, they immediately treated that adult's reach as a purposeful goal, a leap in understanding that babies without the mittens did not show. Every time an infant struggles to reach a rattle or kick at a mobile, they are building a working model of physical agency. They project that bodily experience outward to decode what your hands are doing. As infants approach 9 months, their cognitive software upgrades. They stop merely identifying goals and begin expecting those goals to be achieved efficiently. In a classic test, an animated ball jumps over a barrier to reach a target. When the barrier is removed, babies expect the ball to take a direct route. If it pointlessly jumps into the air for no reason, they stare in puzzled disbelief. This expectation applies to human error, too. In an experiment designed by researcher Andrew Meltzoff, 18-month-old toddlers watched an adult struggle to pull apart a dumbbell-shaped wooden toy. The adult's hand would slip off the ends, failing every time. When the toy was handed over, the toddlers didn't replicate the clumsy slipping motion. They reached out and pulled the toy cleanly apart. They looked past the physical mistake and successfully completed the unseen intention. But here is the crucial detail. Meltzoff ran the exact same test using a mechanical pair of pincers. The machine perfectly mimicked the slipping failure, but when handed the toy, the children did not attempt to complete the action. They recognized there was no mind behind the machine's movements. By 18 months old, they have arrived at a vital understanding. Intentions belong to people, not to objects. Reading someone's goal is a cold calculation. Caring whether they actually reach it requires an entirely different cognitive leap. In a series of observations, 14-month-old infants watched an adult hanging laundry accidentally drop a clothespin and struggle to reach it. Without being asked, these 1-year-olds voluntarily toddled over, picked up the pin, and handed it back. When the adult deliberately threw the clothespin on the floor, the babies ignored it. And curiously, when researchers started offering a toy reward for helping, the altruistic behavior faded. They weren't stepping in to win a prize, they were diagnosing a frustrated goal and choosing to rescue it. Developmental psychologists track this behavior because it maps to what is known as theory of mind. That is the stage where a child realizes that other people hold thoughts, feelings, and beliefs completely separate from their own. The infants who pay the closest attention to dropped clothespins and struggling hands become the preschoolers with the sharpest grasp of other people's perspectives. These quiet moments of problem-solving are the direct, evolutionary roots of human empathy. Cultivating this intricate cognitive software doesn't require specialized toys, flashcards, or a perfect parenting strategy. You are physically built to teach it naturally. Researchers call it motionese, the instinctual way adults slow down, exaggerate, and repeat their physical movements when interacting with an infant. You lift a spoon a little higher or hand over a toy a little more deliberately, creating a perfectly clear, readable action. Every time you reach, narrate, or fumble, or respond to them, your baby is watching. The repetitive, messy, exhausting dance of daily interaction is exactly what teaches a child how the human mind works.